Today, we're going to have with us Amberley Snyder. Amberley Snyder is a champion, a barrel racer, a motivational speaker, and an incredible horsewoman, who her story inspired many people around the world. After a serious car accident, she was left paralyzed from the waist down. She chose to return to riding and continue competing, demonstrating huge courage and determination. Her journey was later told in the Netflix movie Walk, Ride, Rodeo. A truly inspirational story, which if you didn't see, I highly recommend it. The reason why I invited Amberley to the podcast, her way of listening to her inner voice is something we can all learn from, and we have a lot of voices that talk to us in our life, and sometimes life can be challenging or difficult. Even though she was dealing with a lot, she chose to listen to the right voices, and I think we can learn from it significantly. So, Amberley, thank you for coming.
Perfect.
Okay. Hey, how are you?
Great. I'm great.
Amazing. I think the first question I want to ask you is, let's say people are familiar with your stories, and we're going to move on from there.
Okay.
And and when you are looking back at your story, okay,
hmm
do you see it as a tragedy, a destiny?
So I definitely am a believer in everything happens for a reason. So I have to believe that the path that I'm on is the one that I'm supposed to be on. And I feel like I get reminders in that, with the people who reach out to me about my story or that I get to speak to when I travel or the kids that I get to meet, I feel like it reminds me that I am where I am. When I think about my accident in itself, would I say that it's a tragedy? Yeah, I mean, absolutely. It was something that completely changed my life at 18 years old and will continue to change my life, ever from that moment. So sad. Yeah. I mean, absolutely to lose my legs and lose the independence that I had with that for sure. But if I get to, see what I have now, then I'm thankful for that.
I'm curious a little bit what allowed you to see what you have now, because a lot of people, tragedy can happen to them in their life. What allowed you to choose to treat it differently or to see it differently?
For me, I give credit to my parents on that to start with. So I always say I had a perfect combination of parents. I had a dad that he was a Major League Baseball player, so he knew what it took to be the best, and he expected none less from his children. So I feel like, he instilled in me when I was young what it took to work hard and to expect a lot from ourselves. And then my mom, I feel like my mom did a really good job of, even if we didn't win at our sport, that we were to remind us that we were still valuable and, that we still had a purpose, even if we didn't win something that day. And I think that that perfect combination is what really created to be who I am. So, I mean, when I think about, okay, how did I get to where I am or how did I have the strength that I had, I feel like I'd been raised to have it. It wasn't something that just showed up after my accident. I believe that I was raised to have it, all growing up. And then I was able to just use what I had learned and the person that I was to continue to move forward. Now, of course, since then, I've learned a lot and I've gotten stronger and I've been able to evolve and grow even. But I mean, I tell you, I think that it started with having good parents that taught me to believe in myself when I was young.
So you're saying there is two voices, like the voices of compete or achieve or goals are important, and then the voices of being appreciative and value everything, doesn't matter what is the result is.
Right, exactly.
I'm curious if there is like, if you need to summarize your lessons from that situation, what are the things that you gain or earn as wisdom on that regard?
Oh gosh, I mean, I feel like I'm still learning, right? I don't think that there's ever, and I hope that everyone is, they don't have to be in a situation like mine, but I mean, I truly believe that everyone should always be trying to be learning and growing and improving. So for me, I mean, to figure out that I had the strength in order to continue to move forward and then to have the support system that I had to help me get to do what I wanted to accomplish, then, of course I had to find the faith that I was in a position that I could overcome it. And I truly believe that I have the faith and I have God that supports me through everything. So, and then I tell you, my horses, I mean, those horses have truly given me my freedom. So I think that, if I'm to summarize like how I've gotten to where I'm at, it's everything. I would say it's three words, right? It's my family, my faith, and my horses. And I think to be able to have that support system, which isn't always the blood family, right? It's the people who support you and believe in you. Without the support system or the faith or the horses, I don't know if it would have been enough. But because of all those things, I've been able to continue to work through every challenge, and whether it's a health challenge or a mental situation or emotional, whatever it is, we can continue to move forward. And I think everyone's capable of that. I think we all should be growing and continuing to get better through every stage of life.
We all deserve good family, good
Yes.
support, and good
Yes.
horses. That's absolutely a good recipe on that regard. What do you take from your horses as a lesson? And then maybe we can talk about the other.
For my horses, I feel like even the appreciation for them has changed because I mean, I've rode them since I was 3 and I've always loved them. But to tell you, that now that they really are a freedom for me, they really are a piece that continues to give me strength, that there's something that really fills my heart back up. I mean, that's even more than just loving them. It's like this mutual agreement that I'm going to do my best for them and they do their best for me. And because of having that relationship, I can be strong enough to keep moving forward. And I truly can tell you, I have really good horses. I'm lucky with the horses that I have. And if they could talk, they would tell you that I'm in a chair. They would tell you my legs don't work. It's not a secret to them. They know, but they've stepped up to try to make me better, right? I don't think your horses ever sit in their stall and think about what title they hope to win in their lifetime. They really don't. Horses are in our lives to make our goals and our dreams come true. And I feel like I'm lucky enough to have horses that have done that.
It's changed your relationship with your horses in a way now that it's not like there is stuff that you cannot do and stuff that maybe you're doing different because of it. And I'm curious.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I think that, before I've gone out and I've done everything by myself, caught them, saddled them, got on them, rode them, the whole thing. And now I've realized, you know what, it's okay for me to get help with that. So I have someone else that'll catch them for me and saddle for me, and then I can bridle them and then I get on and ride. And so obviously things have changed, right? I mean, just in that aspect, things have changed. And that's just the physical piece of getting on their back. But so that would change the relationship in general, that I would do everything by myself and I can't do that anymore. But I also think that my horses do have like a deeper love for me and a deeper understanding, that I think that they carry some weight with that. I truly believe my horses, they know when they're supposed to be like extra good to take care of me on a day that maybe is emotionally tougher, and they do. And I do feel like that relationship has grown.
Wow, amazing. So we have horses. Let's build the whole formula on that regard. Okay. If you need to summarize the lesson that you took from your parents in a way, or if it's teachable, what are the lessons?
Oh, I would tell you from my parents, to the first thing, right, for my dad is to expect a lot of yourself. Don't settle for anything less than, I mean, perfection's always kind of a strong word, but don't settle for less. Put an expectation on yourself that you want to succeed, and then ask yourself, what are you willing to do that? I mean, in the rodeo world, there's always people who have better horses or more money or more opportunity, right? But no one can ever decide how hard you're going to work besides you. And I truly believe, my dad taught us that you get to decide how hard you're going to work. You get to decide if you're going to fail. You get to decide if you're going to give up and stay there. That decision's always up for you. And I think that that was instilled in me. But then the second part, right? Like I said with my mom, I think to remind yourself that even if you do fail, because we're going to fail in life. It's the way it goes. And this isn't just in sports, but in general, you're going to fail in life. To remember that that doesn't make you not valuable. That doesn't make you weak. It doesn't make you a failure. It just means that, that didn't go the way that you planned right there, but you're still valuable. You still can pick yourself up and remember that you have a light to share, and that that's important. So I look at them and I see that. I have five siblings, and I feel like I've learned stuff from all of them of overcoming and persevering and putting yourself before, putting others before yourself. Or I have my best friend Emmy. She takes care of my horses when I'm gone, and she's an exact example of somebody who will always put others in front of herself. And I've learned a lot from that, and to have the support there. My husband, I mean, he's somebody who completely sees the light in me even when I don't. And all of these people, and this is just a few, right? But all of these people have been such a big piece in me getting to be me, in me getting to live the life that I want to live.
Saying we, it's part of how I get to be me. It
Yes,
sounds amazing.
100%. I mean, that's the way it goes. Like I have people who are willing to put their stuff aside in order for me to be the person I want to be. And how lucky is that?
How lucky you are to see it, or to feel it,
Hmm.
or to expand to it in a way.
Exactly.
Now I'm curious about the God part of the equation. Like you said, I'm a believer, but
Hmm.
it's a practice. It's a how do you believe? Not just if.
I think that I talk about faith, right? I talk about us knowing that we have that faith. And I think that that can look different for every person. So I never tell anybody how they're supposed to believe, right? I mean, I'm not in charge of doing that. But I can tell you what I believe. And I believe that I was put on this earth to have a purpose, and I was put on this earth to serve him, and through him get to inspire and motivate and bring others as well. And that is the path that I know I'm on. That's the journey that I get to serve. And I think that through that, then I hope that others can see that they have light as well. Our world is so cruel, right? Our world is so mean. It's definitely not fair. There's always going to be somebody who says you can't do something, or that's too hard, or whatever it is, right? They're going to put these limits on you. But truly, if you believe in yourself, you believe in what you want to accomplish, and you know that God believes in you, those are the voices that matter more, and I think that that's part of faith. It's not just a religion aspect, right? It's belief in your value. It's belief in your time. It's belief in the people you choose to surround yourself with. It's the belief in what you say to yourself. It's all of those things. Like even when I want to be upset and angry at myself, I remind myself, like, is that how I should be talking? Is that what I should be saying to my own self? Because I need to know that I'm of value. And I think all of those pieces are a part of faith, knowing you're serving your purpose, knowing that you're continuing to help other people. And that, I mean, it's such a big piece, but I know that God put me here, gave me the people in my life that I needed. He gave me the personality that I have. He gave me the heart that I have. He gave me the passions that I have. And I feel like he has helped me in order to shape, in the very best way that I can.
So you are saying there is a lot of voices, and it's a good question which voices we are listening to.
Truly, truly. And you get to decide that, right? Whose voice matters the most. And I'll always say it's yours and God's, and if those voices are the ones that you're listening to, I hope that it's always good things.
I'm here in a place in Texas, and the person that owned this place, he said, how, I asked him, how do you know if it's God voice or a different voice? And then he said, if it's good, it's God on that
I think
land.
that's fair. Yeah, I think it's fair. And I think it comes down to how it makes you feel, right? The light that comes from that. And I think that's how you know.
what's keep you going or give you the courage when rehabilitation, it's doesn't matter if it's emotional rehabilitation, if it's a physical rehabilitation, it's a long process. And the not sure that people are even have the way to imagine. Maybe that's going to be the first question on first after of the question. What are the challenging that you are dealing with on that regard? And after that, what give you the motivation to keep yourself in that process?
Yeah, I think that, the first and foremost, and obviously the obvious one is the physical challenges. So to be in a position where you're a spinal cord injury, I mean, all of a sudden you feel like your whole body betrays you. I mean, truly, because things that you want to ask it to do, it just doesn't respond to it anymore. And things and freedoms that you've had, it's not there. The independence is stripped. I mean, there's just the physical aspect that comes in there. And then of obviously, and then we move to like the mental side of that you are so frustrated, and it can get so taxing to feel like you're always trying and trying and trying, and there's just things that it just doesn't work anymore. And so then mentally that becomes exhausting. And then I mean, on let's go on top of that, right? The emotional side of it, the spiritual side of it. I mean, to realize that your life isn't going to be what it was ever again, that your life is always going to be different. And there's really nothing you can do in order to change parts of that. I mean, it's just what your body has given you. And I think that's the first piece, right? Is, if you have an injury, it changes you. But I think that people can face that same thing, with mental illness or emotional setbacks that they're having. I mean, I think that everyone in their life will have something that will feel like it's the hardest thing they've ever faced. So if it may not look like mine, I think that people still can relate to the emotion of this is the hardest thing I've ever done. And this is the hardest thing I've ever seen. And I don't know if I can handle it. And I think that that's the first piece, is just recognizing that we've all been in a place where things aren't fair and things aren't going the way that we plan. And it really is hard. So, I mean, that's the first piece of it, is just recognizing that you're in a position that is not ideal, that you don't get to choose every part of it, that there's things that are going to say no, things that are impossible to do, and you have to take things. There's a quote by Lou Holtz that is, ability is what you're capable of doing, motivation determines what you do, and attitude determines how well you do it. And sometimes that ability piece isn't up to you. There is going to be hindrances or challenges or things, but the other two pieces are always up to you on what you're going to do next.
In a way, you even change a little bit of the ability while you observe about it creatively. Like if someone will tell me that, I don't know, someone will do roping or barrel racing attached to a horse, you, from a different thinking perspective, you allowed yourself that freedom.
It's true. It's true. And I think that's a big piece of it too, is making some of the impossible possible, taking control over the things that you can. And I've been able to do that.
What allowed you even to think about it? Because I think a lot of people have their own limitation in their head, what they can do and cannot do. And every time we are encountering someone inspiring that does something that is like other people didn't think about it before or played it, I'm curious what gave you the ability to do it, the perspective to do it.
I think, like I said, it started in the beginning. It started with how I was raised. It started with being a person who has been taught to overcome. And then you apply that to a challenge, and then you work through that, and then you learn more about yourself, and you grow and you become stronger, so that the next challenge you face, it's like that. I mean, for me though, like if I would say what inspires me to keep going, it's the love of what I get to do. It's the little girls that dress up like me, that want to be like me, who look up to me. If I was to tell you what inspires me, it's that. that inspires me that even on my bad days that I'm still serving that purpose and I'm still in the position I'm supposed to be in. And then I remind myself, okay, I can't give up. I can't give up. What kind of example would that be to those little girls, I think that they look to me for strength, and it doesn't have to just be little girls, it's people in general that they look to my story. And after looking at my story, they remind themselves they can overcome their challenges too. And that gives me strength, right? Like that reminds me that I have a bigger purpose to serve. And then you can handle the next tough day.
So you are saying even being a model, like the role of being a role model, it's a huge part of it because you are measuring yourself according to the model you want to be, and you already are
Right.
in a way. So it's a daily
Yeah.
work about being the best that I can and working about building that model.
Yeah, I think that's exactly it. And I don't think that it takes an accident to try to become that person, It doesn't take a setback or a tragedy to try to become that best version of yourself. I mean, that's just a decision that you get to make.
And everybody can get that decision, or when you are, I don't know, in near-death experience, sometimes people are describing themselves that they change after that. I was,
Right. Right. I think sometimes people feel like, they wait for something traumatic to happen in order for that change. And I mean, I challenge people, don't wait for a traumatic thing to happen. I mean, do it right in the life that you're in right now, regardless of what situation you're in. Choose to grow, choose to become strong, choose to be a light, choose to know you have faith and you have purpose. I mean, you can make those choices right now. It doesn't have to be after a bad experience. It can be today.
I hope people will do their choices today on that regard. I think we're gonna wrap it up or get close to finish, but I want to ask you, what is your purpose or goals right now after achieving so much? What inspired you to achieve? If everything is possible, the
I
next.
think for me, yeah, I think for me that I just want to continue to live a life that I look forward to every day. So right now, I know my time gets to be split between speaking, motivational speaking, or teaching clinics, and then I get to be with my horses, and then I get to be with my family and my friends and my husband. I feel like I love the life that I've been able to build in the last 16 years since my accident, or even prior to, really, in the 35 years I've been alive. I've been able to build the life that I have, and I hope to continue to get to do that, to be in a position that I'm getting to compete. I have my goals in the arena still, of course, things that I want to accomplish with my horses. I have goals as a speaker, things that I want to still accomplish. But truly, as a big umbrella statement, I would just say I hope that I continue to live the life that I love. And if I can do that, then I feel like I'm on the right road.
I'm in shocked by the way that you are combined determination and goals with love. Like usually people, oh, I'm gonna be in my heart and gonna eat whatever I want and do whatever my heart wants to do, or I'm gonna be in my goals and I gonna sacrifice everything that I can to achieve that. The going with those two opposites together, I think that's my big takeaway from you and for today. And thank you for so much inspiration to so many people. I think it's an amazing story that can give people a lot.
Well, thank you. Yeah, thank you. I'm honored to have been able to come and visit with you. And I hope that that's what people gather, right? I love that that's what you said, that you don't have to give up one or the other. You can have goals, you can have love, you can have a life that you love.
And we definitely need more love in the world right now.
We do. We do.
That's, uh, that's for sure. Thank you.
Thank you.